everyone. You're here with Hosanna for Youth, and we are an organization that provides education, awareness, resources, and support to the community about incest, molestation, and rape. We are an organization that have a heart for those that have been impacted by incest, molestation, and rape. We are here every Wednesday with our Exposed to Conversation live, a survivor story, every Wednesday, 6:15. We came on early because we want to discuss some things that we saw over the news, and I would like to introduce you to Hosanna's ambassadors. Woo!
Ah.
Ah. You got
Kareisha.
Yay!
Shirley.
Yay! And I'm Angine, and we're sitting here live with you today. We want to talk to you. Can someone tell me what we're talking about today?
Well, we said we was going to talk about baby boy Jordan.
That was deep. Baby boy Jordan. I like that. Wait a minute. Let me say this. How many of y'all got the Amber Alert?
I did. I started getting, I believe, early Saturday morning.
Yeah, I did too.
Early Saturday morning I got it.
So did I.
And it didn't stop. It went from Saturday all day to Sunday all day. I felt like I knew Jordan. I wanted to find Jordan. Who is Jordan?
I think Jordan came and took all of our hearts. We felt the pain that his mom showed in the beginning.
Right.
We felt the urgency. What'd you say?
At first, I really thought it was maybe the father took the baby and it was a baby mama, baby daddy type situation. The dad took the baby and they would find the baby safe. That's what my first alert, my first thing in my head I thought when I saw the alert.
And I was there too, for real. I was thinking the
That's
same
my first
thing.
thought.
Then I ain't gonna lie, the next thing that came to me was I went to thinking that maybe he was abducted by some sexual predator. I did go there. I went there.
You know what? I don't always go there when it's our kids.
Yeah.
I always feel like, and we've been programmed to feel like our kids won't get kidnapped or our kids won't get abused in that manner, like a stranger gonna come and take them in a van and ride off. I always think that's for the other people that have some money and they get some ransom. I'm thinking movie type stuff, so that never happens.
Well, I went in that mode immediately, girl.
You went in what mode?
Thinking that somebody done abducted a little boy, and they got all this stuff going on with sexual predators, with organ donors and all that stuff like that. I just went way left.
Okay.
Now, what laid me out, and I mean really laid me out, and I got angry. I got real angry, was when I found out that the mama.
Ooh, I was so mad.
That's devastating.
I got upset too. I got upset to the point where I wanted answers. Like, why? What happened?
Did you see her face? It was like no emotions.
Yeah.
You think she was on drugs?
I don't know what. No, I didn't see drugs in the equation of her situation. I don't know what motivated her to tell that lie, to kill her kid, and to have all of the state of Florida. She had the whole state. We needed her for when we was trying to get Andrew Gillum elected, so she could have got everybody to go out and vote.
Andrew Gillum, he did it.
I know he did it, but I'm just saying, we need her for November the 6th.
But you know what? That goes back to parenting. I think sometimes parents get overwhelmed, even with one child or something they're not used to and they're young. And they need to know that even though you have a kid and you feel like you're going through something, there's always help. A lot of people don't realize that there's help out there. And they go through these things and they hurt these kids and they kill these kids, and it's unnecessary. If you have a child and you cannot take care of it, and your boyfriend's not taking care of the baby daddy, then you need to make some kind of contact with a relative, if not a friend or state or something. You need to be able to know that there's resources out there. You don't have to take a life, because somewhere or another in life, you're going to regret it and you're going to reap what you sow. But a child is innocent. Understand, I don't care who you are or where you are, there is always some type of help, be it a relative, a friend, or agency. You do not have to take that child's life. So if you take that life, then you're going to expect the unexpected, a life of life.
Now, one thing that I can say that she probably was dealing with was depression, which is something you cannot see on the outside. And regardless of the age of the parent or the experience of a parent, a person can go through some type of depression. And I'm not giving her an excuse or giving an excuse for why baby Jordan is not here. I'm just saying we don't know what the whole makeup of that was. But what I want to say today is it's unacceptable in my book. That that it's unacceptable.
I mean, at the end of the day, we do get overwhelmed. However, we have to learn how to take care of ourselves first. So I was doing a presentation earlier today, and it came up with putting yourself first. So if you know you're waking up in a funk every day, or you waking up on the wrong side of the bed, or you just not feeling well, your mental state of mind is not feeling well, you as yourself need to seek out help. I know in our community we shun away from the clinics and the doctors, the psychologists, and the psychiatrists. We shun that because we don't really, a lot of us don't believe in that. But if you're waking up on the wrong side of the bed every morning, or you're in a funk every day, and you're constantly feeling like this day in and day out, and you cannot get yourself out of that, or you feel like you need to take drugs or drink to make you feel better, you should get help. You should get help not only for yourself, but for the people around you that could possibly feel the draft of you being unbalanced mentally. And unfortunately, baby boy Jordan, he felt the wrath of probably some of his mom being depressed, being unstable. No, not probably. She was unstable. And I'm sure at some point, and she loves her son, and I'm sure right now she's going through it. But you can't take back when you take a person's life. Exactly. You just can't take it back.
And to piggyback off of you, mental state is a good thing to invest in yourself. Your whole mental stability is what needs to be nurtured?
Yeah.
On a constant basis. And if you don't know where to start, you can always start with little things. You can start with maybe taking a walk, learning how to breathe. Go sit at the beach and get connected with nature. Or, have a conversation. Sometimes we can talk more with a stranger than we can family and friends. One thing that you pointed out, and I have to piggyback on this one. Your attitude and your disposition affects everybody around you. So we have to be conscious enough with ourselves to know what we're projecting on the others. And not a lot of people will own up on that. A lot of people won't own up to it. Half of them don't even know how they act to other people.
Or a lot of people wake up with a bottle in their hand, or a joint in their mouth, or something in their nose. So they don't feel what is really, really bothering them, or they don't feel their real emotion because they're going through something. And so if you're having an issue with drug abuse or whatever the case may be. Now, let me say this. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Now, if I have a few friends that indulge in the herbs, and they connect that with spirituality, that's different from when you want to get into a mode where you need it to function or to feel better. That's different. Please believe that's a lot different.
Well, with that being said, you have to look at. I'm laughing because in the community we run into a lot of people, and we run into that they're suppressing what they've been through with the drugs and the alcohol and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Not to give an excuse, but people don't realize that it's okay to go to a therapist. It's okay to get, so when they go through something, they're trying to find something to suppress all of that. And they use things, drugs, or overindulge in certain
Shopping,
things.
overspending, whatever it is.
Whatever it
It could be
is.
anything.
It could be, ooh, yes, I know a few overshoppers. Yeah, that's how they release. You ever hear somebody say, I'm having retail therapy?
I don't believe in that.
Retail therapy is debt.
Because then you still got problems. Because if you don't spend all your money, then
Now you can't pay your bills.
Unless you just got a lot of money. Now Beyonce can go and have retail therapy.
Yeah.
You know, Jay-Z, and you know, you on a scale where your money is long. That's different. But if you know your money's short, you know retail therapy won't work for you. But I'm thinking about switching up a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right. So if you have kids and you know you're going through something, how do you get through what you're going through and still provide mentally, emotionally, and make sure your kids have what they have or have what they need? That's the balance. So a lot of people go through that balance of that unbalance of not being able to cope with all the problems they're going through, plus the kids.
Well, that was my mom. She couldn't cope. On our way coming here, one of the things that my mom is deceased, and I was sharing with Shirley that I remember as a kid, I could have been like 5 or 6, and her way of discipline, and in the beginning was, hi Laura, her way of discipline was she would take us to the graveyard and pull into the graveyard, turn all the lights off in the car, make us get out of the car. Now, we screaming and hollering, snot, everything. And the lady will pull off. And me and my brother, we'll be holding on to each other with dear life because of what we thought was in that graveyard. You know, the dead people and the spirits and this and that. And it was just such a traumatic experience that before I got therapy, you would never catch me in a graveyard. Now it don't bother me, but yeah, she would leave us.
Wow.
And she'll come back. She'll leave us for a while, and you know she'll be gone.
Oh, what you mean?
She'll pull off, cut the lights off in the car. All you can see is that red, the tail lights when she hit the brakes to make that turn out, and it just looked like she disappeared in the
So
night.
how long she'll stay gone?
Child, long enough that the snot be all on your shirt and your shirt wet. So you let me know. I don't know. I was little.
But you know what, Angine? Now that you're saying that, that kind of goes back to the Jordan case, because believe it or not, she had to be going through something mental to do something like that, to leave kids alone in a graveyard at night. A lot of people, I mean, we're in 2018. There's no reason to me, and that's just my opinion now, there's no reason for anybody to allow themselves to get that part of depression where you want to take a child's life. Because you go, listen, I just said that's me now. I'm 2018.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not putting on nobody. I said it's 2018. It's not like we back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. All right, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, and the mother, even if she didn't have, I don't know what her family was, her mother, her sisters, her brothers, if she had none of those, you still go on the web. There's still, you got, you know, if you go apply,
You have resources.
Right, there's too many resources out there, and they will give you help. Even if, you know, if you can't afford it, there's help there when it comes to mental health. You know, there were laws that are put in place just because of that, because women would go into a depression and they would either commit suicide or they would kill their kids or hurt their kids. And, you know, thank God that, you know, kids can go to heaven, that, you know, children go to heaven when they're little like that. But it's still, you know, he could have been the next president. He could have been the next vice president. You know.
Oh, God.
You never know what he would have been.
I'm sorry.
if if he'd still been here. You never know what his life would have been like.
Yeah.
But someone should have reached out to her, and someone had to, the baby's father, someone should have reached out to her. Somebody had to see or know.
Which is true, Shirley, and I can't contest it. I can't argue it because I don't know the people. I got the Amber Alert. I saw it on the news and everything like that. But my thing is, in general, is letting people know that anytime they're in that situation, that's not the final way. It's so many other resources now, especially in the communities. Just like having Hosanna for Youth. Hosanna for Youth is one of those organizations that provides group therapy, one-on-one therapy. You can speak with a psychiatrist.
Right.
You can speak with someone that, if you want to have a conversation, a confidential conversation with someone, non-judging conversation. And that's what I want to point out, is a non-judging conversation, because a lot of times when we have situations just like with baby Jordan and his mom, we're on the outside, we're just given what we saw, and we really don't have a clue what that young lady was going through.
No, we don't.
We only can know that she needs help. We should have been able, the community. When I say the community, I'm saying right now today, it's somebody in our community that's overwhelmed, don't have enough means to make it, barely getting to work in the morning, stress beyond, children are not doing what they need to do, not getting what they need, baby daddy may be absent, however it go, whatever that story was, lived all of it, I understand that. It's somebody in our community that's attending a local community church. It's somebody in our community that's attending and patronizing the local businesses, that's interacting with people in our community, and not one person has said anything to that person about, baby, you all right?
Right.
Are you doing okay? What can I help you with? Is it, maybe they need a meeting. What do you need?
Right. But see, that's why it's so important that Hosanna goes out statewide. So people know, I don't care what state you in, where you live at, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you know someone that's going through something, or you know that they're down and depressed, or you know that they got a child of their own, they having a hard time, and their mental state's not all there, and you know them how they used to be. If something switches up and changes in their personality or how they are with your kid, you need to talk to somebody. You need to notify somebody. You need to pick up a phone. You can make an anonymous call.
Yes. You can call Hosanna 954.
Thank you.
962-6868. You can call Hosanna. Now, one of the things that, like you said, I see Joanne. Hey, Joe. So you can call Hosanna, and you can, come and, get the services that we provide. Sometimes, like, I hear you, Joe, with the depression. A lot of people don't talk about their depression. A lot of people allow doctors to put them on medication for depression without seeking another way to deal and cope with their depression. Depression don't always have to come in a pill bottle.
That's right.
Sometimes it's learning a new way of being, a different way of mindfulness. Meditation is good.
Mm-hmm.
What is meditation?
Being quiet.
Mind, soul, and body.
Yeah. Being still.
Being still.
And just being. A lot of times if somebody say, I don't feel good, then we want to know why they don't feel good. Why we can't accept that I told you I don't feel good.
You got to connect the mind with the body and the soul. Because when all three of those connected, you're at peace.
Yeah.
You're meditating.
Yeah.
That's at peace.
Yeah,
And you want to have your little incense, whatever.
Let me do a shameless plug. I'm going to shameless plug on y'all. Sorry. That's why Survivor Stroll exists.
Right.
Survivor Stroll, Hosanna's Survivor Stroll is that peace beyond, to allow someone who never meditated, to allow someone who never had a chance to get in tune with nature or to be still, a chance to be still. When you're dealing with traumatic experiences, like the young lady, Baby Jordan's mom, this is a traumatic experience, even though she's the one that did it.
Right.
She's gonna have to live with that the rest of her life.
But she still needs help.
But let me tell you something. I want to bring it back to her. Can we?
Yeah.
How many of y'all been in relationships and y'all just loved? You ever heard somebody say, "I love him to death"?
Don't love me to love.
Don't love me to death.
Don't love me because don't love me to death.
Yeah. And they be like, I love him to death. And then they world revolves around that mate. They nothing outside of that mate exists. They make sure, I've seen and experienced some women that they feed the man a steak and whatever and get the children hot dogs. Mm-hmm. And they all sitting at the same table.
Right.
I mean,
children, wait a minute, because them children gonna
mess up
for the food, and they ain't gonna eat.
No.
Yeah, them kids, some kids don't eat all that.
Listen, let me tell you something. I'll never forget this. I don't know if a lot of you remember. This happened down in Miami. This was back in the 90s.
We don't remember.
Okay, some of them will. Okay, if you remember, give a shout out to Shirley. Okay,
give a shout out to Shirley.
Remember back in the 90s with this young lady. She had the little girl. The little girl was only like 5 years old, and there was only one sausage left in the refrigerator. That little girl got up that morning hungry. That's all that was in the refrigerator. She got up and went and ate that sausage. And that girl's boyfriend beat that little child to death because she ate the sausage. The state charged her because she didn't protect the child, and they charged him. They both got, I think she got 20, he got a life sentence. But the moral of the story was, they asked, why didn't she protect the child? How about the neighbors used to see her all the time with 2 black eyes. They knew he beat her. They knew he beat the child. No one ever said a mumbling word.
That's crazy.
Right. Now, that was back in the 90s. Here we are in 2018. And that's why I say there is no reason. There's too much resources out there. There's too many neighbors. There's too many people. People tell people all the time.
Y'all can tell how much these jokers tip out. Tell how much they whooping and doing things.
You know this.
So bring it back around. Why does Hosanna exist? Because it's people that's been touched and have not said anything to the family, or may not can say anything. But you see the change in that child. You see the change in their actions, their grades, whatever. And some children can't go to their parents and say
X, Y, and Z.
Fear.
So
how do you, as a parent, we need to ensure that we have that open door policy so that they can come and they can share with you. And then when they share, you got to take action.
You got to be willing to listen.
Right.
Because that's the big thing.
Right.
Because we think we grown, we know everything. And what we say go. And that's how, my mom used to say, because I said so. Because I said so. And, whatever I say is the way it goes.
That's not how you do it.
You got to have open communication.
You got to have open communication. You got to have open communication, and you got to make sure you're building a safe place so your child will feel safe and will feel like I can tell my mom anything. That's right. And I can tell my dad anything, and I want to be that parent. Well, I feel like I am that parent that have an open door, and my kids are all ages. I feel like my kids can come to me, whether it's my step kids, my kid, whatever. All my kids can come to me and they can talk to me about anything. Do they? I don't know. I hope they feel like they can come to me and say things, because at the end of the day, when you're touched inappropriately or when you're abused, it weighs on you for the rest of your life. If you don't, even if you get help, it's still something over your head. So you might grow up and you might be promiscuous, and you don't know why you feel like you need to have sex with men, so many men. It's because you were touched. Or you may feel like you can't elevate, you can't get that degree, or you can't do X, Y, and Z because somebody abused you and made you feel like you're less than anything, and you don't want to push yourself because you feel like you can't. So as parents, and if you don't have kids, you still can be a parent to a child. And one of the reasons why Hosanna is around is because we're not through the court system. No one is mandated to walk through these doors.
Right.
Nobody, there is not a parole officer or a probation officer checking on anybody to see if they're coming to group, if they're coming to the walk, if they're coming to the live, if they're coming to volunteer. We don't have that mandate here. We have an open door policy because there is really no other agencies around that allows people just to walk in to give people that avenue. So we should make sure that we check ourselves so that we could be, be who we need to be for other people, if that makes sense.
Especially in your community, because if we can reach that one person who's going through something, then just imagine the dynamics of the family, what we're changing. And then just imagine the community that we're creating.
Right.
The community would have a different outlook,
Man, don't talk about community.
Why don't talk about community?
Cause don't talk about community.
I want to know why.
I don't know, because I feel like a lot of people have their own agenda
in the community.
Like some people want to help, but they want to help because of X, Y, and Z. I just wish that we would really, really come together as a community, a for real community, and get our personal things out the way or our professional things out the way, and really help people, because people really
are hurting.
People are really hurting, and people really need help.
Yeah, and I think it's enough resources in our own, in the communities, businesses, churches, schools, it's enough resources that we should be able to build, connect and build something secure. Because if we're looking for our children to, how they say, what's the thing they say, level up?
Level up.
The doggone adults ain't leveled up. How do we change that? So people say, well, I wasn't raised like that, I don't have this, and I didn't want it. So here it is now. If you know that there's an organization hosting meetings, group sessions, not court appointed, it's just like Bible study on a Tuesday night. You ain't mandated to come. Go. Come get what you need if you need it.
And then if you go, you may be a help to someone. Your issue may be someone else's issue, and you may be handling your issues a little bit different, and that person may see how you're handling your issue, and it helps them somehow.
Right.
So just being around other people that need, not being selfish of your time. I know I go all the time. Everybody that knows me, as a matter of fact, I had a conversation with my best friend today, and she was like, you never stop. You don't stop. I know I need to stop, and a lot of times I do. I break. I take a day and I settle down, but I go because I've been through, and I'm just happy with the person that I am now. I love this girl I am now. I love this lady that I am now, and I want to share. I want to share me, because I know where I've been through. I know where I've came from, and I didn't come through or go through anything that I didn't put myself into. So it's not like I came from hell. I put myself in hell. So being that I put myself in hell, and I had people around me, my mom, my support system, and just other people to grab me and bring me back, I want to show other people that you don't have to be, in the streets. You don't have to be in the jail. If I could sit down with one person and tell one person my story, you'll be like, oh my, you went through all of that?
Yeah.
Or you did all of that? You saw all of that? So like we said the other day, I love that. I love this woman that I am now.
And speaking of the other day, we had this conversation, and what I said to a group of persons that I was speaking with was, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, who the hell is this lady? I love her. Because, you know, I was every statistic that you could possibly think of. So when I hear people go, oh, there go Angine, I'm like, oh, where's she at? Who is that? Because I had to get here to love and like myself. And that's all it's about is, would you'll fight for the man.
Fight for the kids.
Fight for the kids. When you gonna fight for yourself? That's when you got my full attention. Because if you say I'm fighting, I'm trying, or whatever, I'm gonna ride with you. Whatever you want to do. You want to go back to school? Let's go back to school. You want to get a job? Okay, let me see how I can help you. You want to try this? Okay, I don't know much about it, but I'm gonna keep tapping until I find somebody that can help us. But you got to be fighting. You got to be willing. I can't want you to be better more than you wanting to be better yourself. And that's where it all boils down to.
All right. You know, I was going to go back to what you were saying in reference to the kids. It's kind of hard nowadays for kids to to trust the teachers, the principal, and our leaders.
For real.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard for them to trust. So I think we as parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, you have to teach your kids good touch, bad touch, and when no one's supposed to touch you, period. And my motto with my grandkids is, if I'm not there, something happens to you, you call 911 yourself. Mostly all parents give their kids phone. You teach your kids to call 911 because by the time you get there, the police will be already there and a report will be made by the time you get there, and then that way everything, you know, takes flight. But a lot of things that goes on now, you know, it's, you know, I have a lot of grandkids, so, and some of mine's are little, so I tell them, I make sure all of them have phones, because something happened to one of my first grand. He was going to school, and as he was going to school, he was coming home, and this man came up in the truck. He didn't have a phone at the time now, but this man came and approached him in the truck and tried to get him to get in, and he knew better. So what he did, he ran on to my mom's house. But you bet your bottom dollar, you know, the police was called in before I even got there. By the time I got there, the school had been notified. That next day, they had every teacher from north to south lined up, because come to find out, in that area, there was like 10 pedophiles that lived over there. So you really never know. So for me, as a parent and a grandparent, I encourage all parents, know the area in which you live in. You can easily pull up and see what pedophiles are there. Sometimes they're like 2 doors down from you. But you need to know, because just because your kids go outside and play don't mean somebody ain't watching them. And you need to teach them, all of them basically right now should know 911, but you need to teach them who to call, what to do, where to go. I tell mine, tell 5 people. If you can't reach me, you call 911 yourself. You call whoever else on that 5-person list. Let them know. By that time, trust me, somebody's there and something's happening. Oh. And even as a parent, because sometimes you can tell your parents, and the parents are very nonchalant or they don't believe you. That's why I say you tell 5 people, because if you tell 5 people, I guarantee you, if name but one, somebody's going to report it. And that's the problem. It needs to be reported. Because when it's reported, it's told, and that's why Hosanna always says, it's okay to tell. You need to tell it.
You need to tell it. And I want to say something. When we think of community, I don't know, I want to exaggerate this a little bit. Community is a mixed pot. And I'm saying that you have your murderers, you have your thieves, you have your, you know, your drugs, your prostitute, you have everything up in there. You have a mixed pot. That's why it takes the community together to be alert and aware, to make sure that we are engaging enough in talking with our kids. We need to, what is going on? Oh, we need to be, this is going to go off in a minute. We need to be conscious and aware of our surroundings at all times. And one thing that I do know that's missing is parenting. We are not given the instructions or a parenting. We learn from our parents, our mother, our great-grandmother, or whoever is the guidance in our lives. But it's nothing instruction-wise to prepare us once we're impregnated of what being a mother or what parenting is required.
But there are resources that you can tap into.
Okay.
Because right now, Jack and Jill is running a series of parenting classes.
Yep.
And they're free.
Yep.
If they're not free, it's like $10, but I believe it's by your income. So if you don't have any money, but then it goes back to how you're going to make that time. Because people, you know, you have to make the time. I know we work.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have to feed our kids. We have to pay those bills, but we have to make time to educate ourselves.
Say for instance, when I was a teen mom and I got pregnant, one of the requirements we had to go to SAIS's, but they didn't give us, we had what was considered a parenting classes, but it was learning how to change the baby, how to birth the baby, how to feed the baby. But nothing taught us about nurturing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing taught us.
No, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah.
how do we give that in our community to those ones that when we see a teenager or a grown woman, anybody that's pregnant, the parenting needs to be given to both the father and the mother, or those that.
Well, like I said, you can tap into the resources. Like I said, Jack and Jill has a program. Urban League has a program.
Yes.
Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies have a program.
Yes.
And these programs, not necessarily Jack and Jill, but the other programs, they have a person that come and do home visits with you, and they talk to you, and they're mothers too, so they've been through that. They can't teach you how to love,
right,
but they can be there for you, because a lot of times people just need to be met where they're at. So it's knocking on your door, sitting down with you if you allow them to come in and help you. And that's where that stuff happens.
You said something that is really, really, really important. Teaching how to love. And that is when you get to the core of some of the inside things that people go through.
They don't know how to love.
They don't know how to love. And we fill in that blank with so
much other stuff
to what we think love is. And we allow the perception of what we think,
or want it to be. So I just take charge, so you just have to take charge as an individual. Just be genuine. So I'm gonna love on you. I'm gonna love on everybody that come in my area, so that I'm kind. Anybody that knows me knows I'm kind, I'm giving, I want to listen, I'm a jokester, I want to love. So you give that. So as an individual, you check yourself and make sure you're spewing out good energy, so that other people can feel what they need to feel from you. So that you're teaching your kids. It's okay to give your kids a kiss. It's okay to give your kids a hug. It's okay, it's okay to spend that one-on-one time with your kids, because they grow up and they become either loving adults or hating adults that with hatred.
So we want love, and that's what the heart in Hosanna stands for, is to have a heart and to give love so that you may receive love. And if you got one thing from this live tonight, is love yourself.
Amen.
Fight for yourself. And Baby Joy and Mom, you are in our prayers.
Amen.
Yeah. Everybody's angry about the situation, and I get that. But prayer.
And people have to understand, people that have mental problems and mental issues and depression, unless you've been there, you really can't relate. And she needed help too.
Yep.
Just like Baby Jordan, but she needed help also. So, we still have to pray for her, because she's still young.
And pray for Hosanna for Youth and get involved.
Oh, wait.
What?
September 23rd.
What's September the 23rd?
The luncheon. Talk about
Oh my God. Wait, do you have a ticket?
Wow.
Do you have a ticket?
Come on.
Answer me. $25. Come
to
to the luncheon, September the
Come on to
23rd.
luncheon.
If you don't have a ticket, go to Eventbrite and look up No More Family Secrets.
And if you don't get a ticket, Still come, bring $25 and have a good time.
And come at the door. Yes, Eventbrite, September the 23rd. Come to Hollywood Events, and we hope to see you there because we're gonna have. You'll see the pictures. Y'all already know how we do. We're gonna turn up. So come to the event September the 23rd. Tell somebody if you don't have $25, borrow the 25 and borrow an extra 25.
That's
so
50.
That's 50. Just say 50 and bring a friend. You can bring a date. You can bring your daughter and your son.
All right now.
Because children are welcome.
Calm
$25.
down.
It's a
Calm
luncheon,
down.
entertainment. It's going to be food. It's going to be laughter. It's going to be hugs and a lot of love.
All right, and it's gonna be some tears.
It's gonna be some tears.
All right,
come on.
I'm
down.
getting off the live. I'm
all right,
leaving.
We out. See y'all later. Bye.